join us.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you, and thank you, Madam Chairman, for allowing me to come today. My name is Mary Jane Sorrentino. I'm with the Rhode Island Chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby. We are a volunteer group that feels that climate change is due to the failure of the market. The market has failed to price the full cost of the effects of fossil fuels. And we ask our legislators to introduce policy to correct this market failure, and thank you for doing that. And thank you to the co-sponsors and to the Senate committee. So I really want to speak from a personal level because I'm old enough to have seen a changing climate. I lived for 30 years with the benefit of a predictable and stable climate. I kind of knew when the first snowfall took, when to expect it, when to expect the pond to freeze over so I can go try to ice skate. I lived that way for 30 years. But the last 30 years, everything is different. It's hard living in an unpredictable and unstable climate. I couldn't let my kids go ice skating because there were always freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw. My fruit trees, my blueberry bushes, they're suffering from the freeze and thaw cycle. Winter doesn't know when it's going to arrive. Summer never seems to end. We never seem to have a killing frost and an Indian summer like we enjoyed with our kids after we had that first killing frost and then it got suddenly warm. January frost seems like it's always there. I have daffodils that come up in the middle of January. So, we have these heavy rainfalls, we have no rainfall. Massachusetts farmers are suffering from drought this year. So I wonder what this means for agriculture in Rhode Island. I'm part of a CSA. There's new farmers coming into the locavore movement. It's a big growing industry. How is that going to affect? So we have to adapt, but we also have to mitigate. And so that's why we're here, and we have other volunteers from Citizens Climate Lobby that's here because we ask legislators to do something about this. And to look at this market failure, I just want to mention that the Federal Office of Management and Budget puts the social cost of carbon pollution at $40 a metric ton. So we're starting very low, very reasonably, at $15 a metric ton. This is good. This is reasonable because it allows time for businesses and individuals to make adjustments as the fee rises slowly and predictably. So the Rhode Island Chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby is part of a larger group. And the national organization, which is nonpartisan, works with everyone, supports this legislation because it adheres to its principles. It returns revenues to residents and businesses. It's designed to be effective at reducing carbon pollution beyond existing policies, and it protects low-income households from price increases. So we have, and I'm not sure if this was submitted, but we have a paper that I can submit electronically that shows us a study that was done, how it affects low-income people. And the majority of Rhode Islanders will come out ahead, especially those in the lowest quintile. And I have to say, Citizens Climate Lobby at a national level did a carbon analysis as well by zip code, and for every zip code in the country in Rhode Island, with a national legislation that returned all the revenue, came out very well. The low income, we're very much protected. So that's a little off topic, but I just wanted to say that that's kind of a backup. So I want you to know, too, that carbon pricing sets a clear model, and I don't want you to feel alone. I want you to visually see that we're part of a larger network of states that have introduced carbon pricing or are currently introducing carbon pricing. And what about our neighbor to the north? Well, they rely on oil and fossil fuel. That's their economy. Canada is a fossil fuel-based economy. They extract and they use and they export. We don't do that in Rhode Island, but yet they have many provinces that have a price on carbon, and very successfully. And in order to have a uniform price on carbon, they're having a national price. It will be enacted in 2018. The price will be it's going to be a floor price on carbon pollution of $10 a ton in 2018, rising to $50 a ton in 2022. So I just want to give a shout out to the regional approach that other states are taking. I really want to thank you all for considering this bill. I'd really like to sit down with all the stakeholders on the opposite aisle to try to talk about how this will all affect everyone. And I want us to remember that Rhode Island is the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, the birthplace of the offshore wind industry, and it could be the first birthplace of a really effective carbon pricing policy. And so for that, I thank you very much.